Hello, it's time for a language lesson. Okay, yesterday we added complements to our journals, and today we're going to add direct objects to our journals. Okay, and you're going to see that these are connected. All right, this is part of our language, and it will be on page 65. This will also be the title when we get to that page. So once you have this written in your table of contents, go ahead and flip over to page 65 in your journal. Okay, put this as your title at the top. Okay, direct objects. Okay, now, we have the way that we mark sentences, okay, and the way that we indicate what something is as far as a part of speech. So, direct objects, we're going to give the abbreviation DO for direct objects, okay? Now, we talked about complements yesterday. A direct object is a complement that follows an action verb. So, when we're talking about a direct object, boys and girls, this is a complement, okay? It is something that is part of being a sentence completer, okay? Now, there are certain things about direct objects that we need to know. So we're just going to kind of make a little to-do list here. If it is a direct object, then we know that we're going to be looking for a noun or a pronoun, okay? A noun or pronoun, all right? Something else that we know about direct objects is direct objects follow action verbs, okay? Verbs that show action, okay? Now, usually for verbs, we've been underlining them 2 times to show that they're a verb, all right? What we're going to start doing to show action verbs is we're going to label them with AV for action verb, okay? Makes sense, AV, action verb, okay? Now, here's something else about a direct object. After we find a noun or pronoun that follows an action verb, we have to also make sure that this direct object that we have found, that it is something that receives the action of the verb, okay? Whatever that verb is, receives the action of the verb, all right? And then one more, and we talked about this yesterday when we made our complements notes, okay? It answers 2 different questions. It answers what or whom. Okay, so still the same 2 questions we talked about yesterday. All right, so get this little list of characteristics jotted in your journal. If you need to pause the video and get these things written down. We're going to do a few examples, and as we do the examples, we're going to be looking at these characteristics. Okay, so jot them down real quick, and then we'll talk about some examples. Okay, all right, so now that you've got those jotted down, we're going to make a divider for our page, and we are going to talk about a few examples. I want to leave these up here where you can see them. Okay, all right, so one example that we're going to do, let's do this. Tyler found his dog. Okay, all right, so we are going to find our subject. Okay, our subject is Tyler. Okay, all right, now we're going to find our verb. Okay, found. Now remember this, one of the things for a direct object is that it has to follow an action verb. Well, found is an action verb. Okay, all right, now we are going to find out if it's followed by a direct object because we're going to ask ourselves, Tyler found what? Well, we kind of did this yesterday talking about compliments. Tyler found what? He found his dog. Okay, so dog is the direct object here. Okay, so Tyler found his dog. Okay, so let's do another one that could answer the question whom. We'll do an example for each one. Okay, let's do this. I called my aunt in Kansas. Okay, all right, so let's talk about this. Subject is I, The verb is called. Okay, that is an action verb. Okay, so we know that we've got an action verb. So let's see if we can find out what the direct object is. I called whom? Okay, I called my aunt. Aunt is my direct object. Now, I want to go ahead and point something out. This right here in Kansas, in is a preposition. So we've got a prepositional phrase. This is our OP, our object of a preposition that we've already practiced with. You guys remember this when we talked about complements yesterday. Complements will never be found in a prepositional phrase, okay? So when we're looking for our direct object, which is a type of complement, we know it will never be in a prepositional phrase. So when you're looking for things and you're uncertain, it's important to go ahead and get your prepositional phrases out of the way because you know that that's not an option, okay? So the verb called shows action. I ask myself, I called whom, and aunt is the answer. So this is my direct object, okay? So it's just a couple of examples. I don't want us to have to write a lot in our notes today. Okay, so this is our examples for finding a direct object. Now, your assignment today was on page 271. Okay, so the blue box, guys, the blue box is our notes, just like it normally is. Okay, all right, so a complement that follows an action verb is called an object. Now, today we're talking about a direct object. The characteristics that are in this definition are the same characteristics that we listed in our notes. Okay, you notice that this matches up. Okay, noun or pronoun, we've got that in our notes. Follows an action verb, we've got that in our notes. Receives the action from that verb, and it answers the question what or whom. Even the examples that we have, okay, Tyler found his dog. I called to my aunt in Kansas. I didn't include last night, but our examples come from our blue box as well. I did not include this one. It's just an extra one for you to look at if you want to. And it does a great job of giving the explanation for finding the direct object, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna look at the things that are at the bottom of the page, okay? So since we're just starting to talk about direct objects, okay, they want us for this part to think of a direct object to follow the action verbs. They've already marked the action verbs for us. So they want us to fill in the blank with a direct object. So just remember this, we're going to need to be making sure that we choose a noun. It needs to be a noun or a pronoun to fill in the blanks of these because that is the only way it can truly be a direct object. And it also needs to answer the question what or whom. They've already set up the sentences so that they can easily use a direct object, okay? So, did you see the blank? Well, did you see the blank? It's going to make sense to put a noun in this sentence, okay? Did you? And let's do this. We could add adjectives, okay? We could easily put that in here to make it more interesting, but they're just wanting us to see, boom, we can put a direct object in that sentence, okay? So let's just think of, we're not going to worry about making big, nice fifth grade sentences. Let's just keep it simple, okay? Did you see the beagle? This morning we had the neighbor's beagle come walking through our yard. Just think of something that is a noun that could go in this sentence that you don't have to put this one, okay? Alexander Graham Bell invented, well, he invented what? Everybody probably thinks of the same thing, right? He invented the telephone. That's what he's well known for. Okay, let's look at number 3. Dad fed what? Well, you know what? I've been looking and I've been seeing that we have some people with some goats at their houses. So Dad fed the goats. Okay, all right, that's a direct object. We ate blank for lunch. If you've already had lunch when you watch this video, write what you've had for lunch or think of what you had yesterday. Put in what you had for lunch, okay? Okay, we ate what? We ate spaghetti, okay? For lunch, we got a prepositional phrase right here, okay? All right, last one right here. The bouquet had blank and blank in it, okay? Bouquet is a group of flowers. All right, so I like that they put this here to remind us that we can have more than one direct object. The bouquet had lilies and roses. Okay, so two different things that answer the question, okay, had what? Okay, it's okay to have more than one direct object. Okay, so if you notice, all of these words that filled in the blank are nouns. If you didn't use the same ones I did, all of yours should be nouns. Okay, all right. Now, for think B at the bottom, they're wanting us to underline the group of words in the parentheses that will give the sentence a direct object. And look at this. Be ready to explain your answers. We need to be ready to explain why we chose the one we did and why we said the other choice was wrong. So in the example, mother walked, we have two choices, up the street or mother walked the dog around the block. Well, up the street, they let us know, oh, we couldn't use that because that's a prepositional phrase. And guys, it doesn't follow the rule that it's a noun or a pronoun. Mother walked, if we only had to pick one word, it's going to be dog, right? That's a noun. Okay. We got an article adjective, prepositional phrase to tell us more about what's going on. But this is the phrase that should be chosen to complete the sentence. Okay. So look at number one. We read blank last night. Did we read a book last night or did we read late last night? Okay. We read what? For it to be a noun that answers the question, we is the subject, read is the action verb. We read what? Well, the directions tell us to underline the group that's going to give the sentence a direct object. Well, we had to read a book because this is the one that's a noun, okay? This is the direct object, okay? Why can't we use late? Because we have to explain our answers. Well, late tells us when we read. So late is an adverb. Adverbs, direct objects are not adverbs. They're nouns or pronouns. Okay. Look at number two. Carlos quickly wrote. Okay. Carlos is our subject. Wrote is our action verb. Okay. Carlos quickly wrote what? Did he quickly write in his notebook? That doesn't answer the question, what? Carlos quickly wrote a letter to grandma, okay? If I had to pick one word from here, what's it going to be? It's going to be letter, okay? All right. We have to explain why this one is not the correct answer. In is a preposition, so this is a prepositional phrase. In his notebook, okay? We're underlining the correct choice because that's what the directions tell us to do. So these little explanations above are simply explaining why that can't be the answer, okay? So this is the correct answer. So we've done 1 and 2. I want you to press the pause button, and I want you to do 3, 4, and 5 real quickly on your own. And remember, not only do you need to underline the words that give the direct object, but do something to explain why the other choice is not the correct answer. All right, so pause it, do these, and then unpause it, and we'll talk about them. Okay, so let's talk about 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we sang blank at Easter. We is the subject. Sang is the action verb. Okay, we sang what? Okay, the question that answers what we sang is many hymns. Okay, this is the direct object. All right, joyfully. Why can joyfully not be the correct answer? Joyfully tells us how we sang. So this is an adverb. Okay, and adverbs cannot be direct objects, they have to be noun or pronouns. Number 4, Sydney jumps blank quite well. Okay, Sydney is our subject. Jumps is our action verb. Well, Sydney jumps what? Well, she jumps rope. Okay, this is our direct object. Over mud puddles is wrong because over is a preposition. Over what? Over mud puddles. Puddles is the object of the preposition. Prepositional phrases are not where we find direct objects, so it has to be rope. And number 5, Uncle Charlie trimmed blank for mother. Uncle Charlie is our subject. Trimmed is our action verb. Okay, so ask yourself, Uncle Charlie trimmed what? Okay, he trimmed the trees. This is our noun, that is our direct object. Around the hedge. Well, hedge is a noun. Yes, it absolutely is. However, it is a noun that is part of a prepositional phrase. Around is a preposition. Around what? Around the hedge. So hedge, boys and girls, is the object of a preposition. It is not the noun that we need to be our direct object, because when it's included in a prepositional phrase, we cannot use that to find our direct object. Okay, so the trees is the direct object that completes this sentence. Now, I want you to notice that in these sentences, we underlined the direct objects. We only did that because the directions ask us to underline the words to show our direct objects. That's not typically how we will mark direct objects. Just putting the DO over them is how we will show direct objects. So the underlining is just us following the directions for Think Bee. Okay. All right. So today I wanted us to talk about a complement, a specific type of complement, a complement that follows an action verb. Okay. So this was just us learning about a direct object, the characteristics of it, and then practicing with it a little bit. We'll do a little bit more with practicing after spring break. All right. So remember that these notes are in your journal, and this video, you can watch it anytime you want. So when we come back after spring break, if you need to look at these notes or watch this video again as we get ready to do some practice, then do that. Of course, send me a message if you have a question. Give me a call. Your parents have my number, and I hope everyone's doing well, and we will talk to you soon. You guys take care and be safe.